Aloha, y'all. It is Tuesday, Tears Day, ruled by the equivalent of Mars, essentially. Tyr is a Nordic mythological character. The 29th of March. The astrology is as follows. The sun is at 8 degrees 45 minute Aries. Moon is at 4 degrees Pisces. Mercury is at 4 degrees Aries, loosely conjunct the sun within 5 degree orb. So Mercury and sun are conjunct-ish. I'd say they're conjunct. Venus is at 22 degrees Aquarius. Mars is at 17 degrees Aquarius, still conjunct within a 5 degree orb of Venus. Jupiter's at 20 degrees Pisces. Saturn is at 21 degrees Aquarius, conjunct Venus and Mars. Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus. Neptune's at 23 degrees Pisces. Pluto's at 28 degrees Capricorn, and the North Node is at 23 degrees Taurus. Today is a Svadhisthana chakra day. It's a solar, sacral chakra day. And it's in your lower abdomen. It's kind of between your belly button and the base of your spine. The base of your spine is your root, then the sacral, and then your belly button is basically your solar plexus. So keywords are happiness, confidence, and resourcefulness. Positive aspects include sociability, creativity, joyousness, independence. Negative aspects are being withdrawn, destructive, despondent, and overly dependent. The mantra is VAM, V-A-M, VAM, like that, in the key of D. Spiritual activities include meditation, celibacy, and fasting. Essential oils are jasmine, neroli, and orange blossom. The plant is jasmine. The metal is tin. Element is water. Crystals are tiger's eye, carnelian, and onyx. Soul lesson is peace and wisdom. One of my phones I didn't charge last night. It's like low battery, so I gotta do this a little quickly because 20% and counting. And these aren't new phones. So let's go ahead and get a card for this Tears Day, and hopefully I can get it all out in time. If not, I'll post the YouTube video. We've got the Five of Cups. It's funny because last night I was looking at rent in Colorado, in Denver area, and Honolulu and stuff, and I'm just like, man, fuck rent. Fuck expenses that are not necessary. I kind of felt inconsolable. I didn't cry about it, but I was just like, man, this doesn't feel emotionally good. I wish we didn't have to pay to be. What a lame trick of society that is. So, Five of Cups. Hope is not gone. Allowing yourself to grieve what is spilled. Give in to the grief and work through it. The Five of Cups, I'm inconsolable. The Swiss-American psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was a pioneer in research on near-death experiences and the process of grief. She postulated the 5 stages of grief. Denial, this can't be happening. Anger, why me? It's not fair. Bargaining, if only this, then that. Denial, or I said denial already. So depression, why go on? And acceptance, it's going to be okay. Towards the end of her own life, she said that these stages were not always linear, predictable progressions. This opened the door for us to understand grief as a process which unfolds across time. Ultimately, the process travels across different emotional topographies that must make the full journey in order to reach the land of acceptance and integration, which is where we're all trying to go. In the Five of Cups, a distraught yet almost indistinguishable figure crouches by the river, watching as a hand desperately reaches out from the rushing torrent as it's swept away. 5 cups, 5 stages, must be consumed in order to move on. It reminds me of Dumbledore in the last movies and books when he has to drink from the poisonous pool. 3 cups hold red inflammation. 1 stands empty with feelings of emptiness and meaninglessness. And the last cup holds hope, a return to the heart. For this card to have impact, one does not have to be dealing with something catastrophic. It points to the fact that we all carry tremendous grief. I was just bemoaning and grieving the fact that we have to pay bills, right? Ancestral grief, family grief, cultural grief, grief for our loss of innocence. We all live out the 5 stages of grief in numerous ways. A dream job we worked so hard for falls through. A relationship breaks up. Children leave home. No one passes through life untouched by grief and loss. Grief is part of the natural cycle of life. We can stop fighting against it and allow ourselves to feel what needs to be felt. Tarot offers us an opportunity to see ourselves through different eyes, to see what needs to be questioned, healed, and released. It offers us new vistas to move towards and explore. As with the Four of Cups, we have the capacity to create a new context or viewpoint through which we can explore our pains and discomforts. We can transform them into something wondrous. Byron Katie's system called The Work offers a way of questioning and releasing the painful stories we inhabit, stepping into the open freedom that is our true, radiant, untarnished self. The Five of Cups took me to my own deep grief, the loss of loved ones, the failures, the hard times I had put my family through with my relentless pursuit of creative dreams. The fast-flowing river in the card has more than one meaning or possibility. Of course, we can be swept away by the river of tears, but we can also be cleansed by it too. We can put right what we can and let go of our grief. Let it be taken back into the great ocean of life. For me, this card does not point to the arrival of some form of grief, for it has already arrived and we carry it in all of ourselves. Instead, it presents a question and a powerful possibility. It asks you to look at the grief you hold on to. It invites you to contemplate with it and let it go, letting life, nature with a capital N, take care of transmuting it back into vetas or energy. So the Five of Cups, hope is not gone, allowing yourself to grieve what is spilled and giving into the grief and working through it. It's okay. Some days, even today, the energy feels weird here. It's an overcast day here in Costa Rica. It's not that humid. It's pretty dry, but I just felt like heavy. I got pretty good sleep. I don't understand why my mood is this way, but it's kind of this mood, or just a moody mood. So let's go ahead and get a clarifier. Maybe that will help me understand the chariot on the bottom. That's the card from yesterday. I mean, in a sense, it's like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? That kind of energy is in my head for sure. So, what wants to pop, though? We've got the Six of Swords. And this is a harpy. But let's go ahead and talk about that. So, the clarifier is the Six of Swords. Swords are for Geminis, Libras, and Aquariuses. If you are an air sign, you're a sword. And the Six of Swords is, I adventure into the great unknown, right? So we have to let go of what we've held on to and grieve it and move on. Not all dreams will be made manifest, but at some level they will in heaven, or however you want to put that in the mind after death. Six of Swords, I adventure into the great unknown. This is being aware of the energy of transition, leaving the familiar behind, moving forward, and forgiving the past, just like the Five of Cups was saying, testing your abilities to gain self-knowledge, right? So we really are kind of at a point, I think collectively, where we're like, you know what? Maybe nationalism isn't the best way to go forward. Maybe consumer capitalism isn't the fucking best thing. And we're kind of grieving, in a sense, our mistakes. Maybe we've been in denial of a lot of levels of brokenness in ourselves, shadows in ourselves and others. And we have to come to this place that is going to basically cause us to move forward in our journey mentally. I have 10% now on the other phone, so it looks like Facebook's going to be getting a YouTube post. FY Izzle. It might just cut out and I'll delete it. So we got the flying fruit bat, kindness. The way through all this is through creativity, sacral chakra, right? Sacral chakra. But we need to be kind to ourselves and others. And with the Five of Cups, we're moving forward, and we just have to be kind of aware of this transition and be kind to ourselves during this period of transition. So this is number 12. It's amazing how fast a device that's not fully charged dies. Kindness. Choose kindness, which isn't always the easy way. Kindness will always be repaid. Consider others in your decisions, especially those with less power than you. Repay your debts. Spread the seeds of goodwill and your fortunes will grow. The mythos. Princess Laotigi was royalty for the Samoan Islands. She was sent to Tonga to become the second wife of the king of Samoa at the time. This was not a love match, as she was sent as a part of a peace treaty through marriage between two kingdoms. So very Mercury conjunct Sun and Aries. It's like, we're warring people, and we have to Saturn conjunct Venus, and Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius. We have to work out a peaceful process for all of us to make this thing work. Although sealing alliances through marriage was a common practice, often those wives that were part of this kind of union were treated badly and looked down upon by the community. One day, as she walked through the gardens, Laotigi discovered a baby bat that was sick and wounded. She was a kind and gentle woman, and in her mercy, very Five of Cups kind of, soft-heartedness, looked after the little bat until it was well again, and then she released it back into its colony. This action, Mars, in Aquarius, action for others. This act didn't remain a secret. South Node in Scorpio, no, North Node in Taurus, people became aware of it, as the royal court watched everything Laotigi did. The court laughed at her kindness and thought her weak and stupid, which made her an easy target when the king's fortunes declined. The royal court suggested that it was Laotigi who caused the king's problems, and they decided to kill her by burning her on a pyre. The flames were lit, and the flames rose to engulf Laotigi when suddenly the sky darkened, just like today. It's kind of a darker day. The baby bat and his family had not forgotten the kindness of the princess and had come to help her, so it was a darkening of the skies because of the number of bats. Thousands upon thousands of bats flew above the fire, urinating down on the flames to extinguish them. Laotigi was saved, but her trials were not yet over. Frustrated, the Tongans kings exiled her to a very small island with nothing to eat. The island was completely barren, so the king and his court were sure that Laotigi would starve soon. Again, the fruit bats assisted her. They brought her food, including fruits and seeds, and they kept her happy with their smiling company. Saturn conjunct Venus in Aquarius. They're making it work as a team and supporting each other in that sense. Soon the island became one of fertility and plenty, North Node in Taurus, as many of the bats made it their new home. The kind princess was very happy, and she became a goddess of plenty and fertility and the patroness of a protector of all bats. The animal, the Samoan Flying Fox, is a protected animal in Tonga and Samoa because of this mythos. A mammal, it is the largest flying fox in the Pacific, with a wingspan of up to 1 meter. Unusually, the species does not form large colonies, but exists as monogamous pairs with children, so small families. Fruit bats, which are also known as flying foxes, play a key role in pollination and seed dispersal throughout their habitats. Rather than using sonar, they have a keen eyesight and hearing, and they are also very intelligent. They suckle their young and are caring parents. The magic. Fruit bats are a vital part of the ecosystem, ensuring seeds are spread and fertility of the land is secured. The energy here is one of fertility and plentifulness. Invite flying fox energy into your workings when you wish to invoke more kindness or fertility. Symbology is a fruit bat, seeds, baby bat. Status is of least concern, but they're declining because of habitat loss. So we need to be creative in our ways of engaging with these animals, because even this story, they creatively saved her. From what? Her heartbreak, her loss, her grief. They took her to new lands, and her journey kept going forward, but she had to be aware of the change around her, the changing of the guard of the castle, or whatever, the Tongan royalty. So, interesting indeed. Let's get an I Ching hexagram. Oh, wow. That is some Venus conjunct Saturn and Mars conjunct Venus in Aquarius vibes. The royal we. Hexagram number 13. So let's go ahead and read what this has to say. And like I said, if this kicks out on Facebook because my phone battery dies, I'll post it in a minute from my recording that I post on YouTube. So, communion with humanity. That is some North Node Taurus, Saturn, and Venus conjunction Aquarius shit. Complete togetherness with humanity is only possible if you share a common goal and everyone is free to develop individual talents. You are an individual, Sun in Aries, with the conjunct Mercury. Like, you have your own thoughts and your own actions, but at the same time you're embedded within a field of being that's collective. And it only happens when your individuality is seen and then everybody's individuality is seen. It's kind of like the American dream in a sense, right? Only then can harmony rule and yield a sense of unity. If you wish or are requested to take upon a responsibility in a team or a group, you should ask yourself honestly whether you should ask yourself honestly whether you possess sufficient strength and clarity of thought for this task. A sense of justice, social awareness, and organizational skills are further essential for the job. Very Saturn in Aquarius, North Node in Taurus. Like, can you do this? Support the objectives of your group unconditionally and ensure the equal rights of each participant. This is not the time to make a name for yourself on your own terms. Moon is in Pisces, right? So we are being asked to be very sensitive to the needs of others, right? Everybody's on a journey of becoming, so we have to be kind of aware that it's like all of us together in the dream, making up the whole dream. So that is what's going on there. we don't want to just be, it's tricky with so much, with Mercury conjunct Aries Sun, we want to keep our hearts open, Pisces Moon, to the sensitivities of others, Saturn and Venus conjunct in Aquarius. That makes a better world, North Node in Taurus. So we've got Sapphire as the stone. I might actually get through this reading without it crashing, which would be nice. Not trying to stress too hard, but I'm like, well, it keeps declining in battery length. Sapphire, you can quantumly entangle with this, by the way, so know that. You don't have to own it. What it is, often blue, but sometimes pink or yellow, sapphire, like ruby, is a variety of the mineral corundum. With its peacemaking force field of sparkle energy, very Pisces moon, sapphire protects the vulnerable and squishy stuff inside from judgmental people and their unsolicited BS. Right, 5 of Cups, when you're kind of having to go through the blues, you don't want people going, snap out of it. That's not a big problem. It's like, it's okay to grieve things and cry. You don't want to stay in that place. Who needs it? Students of ancient wisdom. Where to put it? On your right middle finger, the finger of Saturn, Sapphire's associated planet. When to use it? When resentments are doing more damage to you than to those you're holding them against, right? 5 of Cups is like, I'm so bitter and hurt, and why is this happening to me? Enlist Sapphire to call forth that old soul that resides within, i.e. the wisest part of you, who couldn't possibly care less about what anybody else thinks of you. It says, find your tranquil place, right? So I think we're going to have to, through kindness, Moon in Pisces, North Node in Taurus, through heartedness and value, make moves with the clarifier of 6 of Swords to new places in our journey, but that means having to let go of some past perceptions, having to include others as individuals that are equal to us, and in finding our tranquil place, really moving to new domains mentally, but doing it in a kind way, a hearted way. So you are an individual who has things to do, you want to accomplish them, you got your shit to do, your vision of what you want to accomplish in this world, North Node in Taurus, Sun conjunct Mercury in Aries, but you have to be aware that like not all goes according to plan, and understand your boundaries of self and other, Moon in Pisces, while trying to work with others in a cooperative capacity. Mars conjunct Venus, and Venus conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. The world is changing, Pluto and Capricorn. So hopefully that makes sense today. Don't let the blues overtake you. We're moving to new turf, all of us together at the same time, but you have to find your happy place individually and allow others to have their happy place through the kindness of your heart. And that is really the creative act that we're being told to do, Svadhisthana or sacral chakra. So be creative in how you process your grief. Be creative in how you see yourself in the story. Don't get stuck in a bad spot. The river is never the same twice. Change is constant. So, today you're broke, tomorrow you're rich. Today, maybe you're rich, you'll be broke. Hold on loosely and enjoy the ride kind of things. Holler for readings if you want. $33 for an hour of cards, $88 for 3 hours of astrology, $111 for both. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We've got Andreas Exertus coming on tomorrow, I believe. 275 episodes deep, amazing stuffs. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, you need to see or hear this podcast. It's great. We've had famous people and normal people, so all types of people, very Saturn and Aquarius. The royal we, going down the rabbit hole together, Team Rabbit Hole, right? The mysteries of life that can overwhelm us are better apprehended as a self with strength in a group that is understanding kind of thing. So, enjoy your Tears Day, tap into your creativity if possible, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Adios. Bye.